Good evening and welcome into Stone Stadium. I'm Spencer Ball, joined today by JP Barry, and we're back. It's been a little while, at least since you've heard the two of us on the call together, unless you've been watching some cock hockey on our channel. But it's good to be back. We've got I think what's going to turn out to be a really fun matchup here. And it's been a while. We've been away from home for a bit. JP, how have the Gamecocks fared in their last few?
Well, they've been bouncing back and forth. They went on the road. They defeated Georgia State in Coastal Carolina. Some of the, kind of cellar dwellers of the Sun Belt.
But I would say mid to low level teams, I would say for sure.
They went on the road to Morgantown to take on the then #1 West Virginia Mountaineers and played them very close. They were tied all the way into, I believe, the
89th.
The 89th minute. But unfortunately, West Virginia was able to find that late lead getter, and the Gamecocks couldn't respond, and they took a tough loss in Morgantown. But now it's just about getting back on track against a team. You're kind of in the similar area of that Sun Belt conference pecking order, trying to separate yourself as the season winds down, and you're getting to start worrying about tournament time.
That's right. It's coming a lot sooner than I think. I don't want to say me or you realized, but it feels like just a couple weeks ago we were starting the season, but. Really, that was all the way back in August. Again, the Gamecocks are 5th right now in the Sun Belt, just a couple ranks below James Madison, who sits at 3rd right now. They're 3-0-3, so it's a team that doesn't lose much. They've only lost one game on the entire season, and they've got a whole bunch of ties. South Carolina in the Sun Belt is 2-3-0, and a couple of those games, the Marshall one, it was a late goal from Marshall, and South Carolina was just unable to equalize after some great chances.
We were here for that one.
We sure were. The Kentucky loss at home. That one was a real stinker.
Affair.
Yeah, I was at that one, and South Carolina gave up 2 really easy corner goals within 5 minutes of each other in the first half. And we're just unable to get back into it. But really, in that game, it looks like Kentucky won handily if you're just reading the box score, but South Carolina looked like the better team. They really on the pitch the entire match. And, of course, their other Sun Belt loss just last week in Morgantown. But, again, I think a really valiant effort. West Virginia is the #1 team in the country. So I think
not anymore, but
there you go.
Semantics.
At the time, they were the #1 team in the country, so maybe slid down a little. But, again, a really good team, #1 team in the Sun Belt. So There you go.
And so, both these teams play a similar style of ball. Both tend to gear themselves towards low event soccer. Not a whole lot of, shots, but when they do shoot it, they're very on target. Good defenses as well. So, we're going to be in, I think, for kind of a drag-em-out brawl here at Stone Stadium. But we're about to take a quick break for our nation's anthem.
And we're back after
Well, doesn't that just fire you up?
I mean, it does. Nothing like the anthem before a sporting event right here. So we've got a lot of youth on the field today, some kids, like they do in, most European soccer. Honestly, most soccer leagues pretty much around the world, you've got some kids that walk out with the team, do a little tunnel action. As they're going to be introducing the James Madison Dukes right now, and we're going to do the same here in the box. I'm going to give JP the home team. We're a little more familiar with their names, as James Madison might have some tough ones.
That was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Thanks. I do what I can, man. Are you going to take it away with the starting lineup?
I thought, you picked it up. I thought you said we were going to start with James Madison.
No, you're starting,
Anyway,
buddy.
in net for the Gamecocks is Philip Vistier. Your defenders, Andrew Goldsworthy, Gabriel Atienza, and William Nielsen. Your midfielders, Ethan Ballack, Sebastian Reventlow, Jonah Begar, Camden Kowalski, Alejandro Velasquez Lopez, and Ted Cargill. With a forward, the venerable Harrison Meyering, one of the best goal scorers in college hockey, Spencer.
That's right. And for the Dukes, starting in goal, it's Sebastian Conlon. In defense, it's Enrique Garcia Barreas, but we will be calling him Enrique Pitu. That's what he chooses to be referred to. So if we say that, don't get too surprised. And also in defense, Josiah Blanton, Chase Strine, Yanis Leland. In the midfield, it's Kevin Larson, Luca Nicolai, Jeffrey Aguilar, and Dimitri Turner. And up front, we've got Evan Southern, the forward, and another defender to add to the list. It's Ian Graham rounding out the starting lineup. We'll tell you a little bit about the uniforms. James Madison is going to be wearing purple tops, purple shorts, white numbers, and for South Carolina, it's their trademark home white jerseys with garnet trim.
Yeah, Spencer, only the third all-time meeting between South Carolina and James Madison. As James Madison joined the Sun Belt recently from the Coastal Athletic Association. This is an interesting one. It's the only opponent South Carolina has multiple meetings with all time, with multiple ties and no victories. Both meetings before this one have been 1-1 ties. And so it's very interesting to see who can win, get their first win in this conference matchup. But something we'll touch on, a little bit later. This is a big game for the Gamecocks in terms of RPI, which is huge for getting into the college men's soccer tournament. There are 48 teams, but there are 23 at-large or automatic bids for conference winners. So
I'm going to do some quick math there for everyone. That leaves 25 spots for the non-conference winners, and that's not a lot of teams that'll get in this tournament, JP.
This is a conference that's going to be hard to win in a tournament setting. And so for South Carolina and JMU, it really comes down to these kind of resume-building games. James Madison has a little bit of an edge. They're 36th in RPI, while the Gamecocks are 55th. James Madison, I think what has really helped them here, they have not suffered a loss to a ranked opponent. They're 1-0-2 versus ranked squads, including games against Marshall and Georgetown, who were both top 10 at the time they played. Meanwhile, for South Carolina, when they play a Marshall, a Clemson, or a West Virginia, they play these really tough, hard-fought games, but they just can't find an equalizer or find themselves on the right side of the scoreboard.
And I think, that shows the growth in this South Carolina team. They play ranked opponents a lot closer, and they've done that year after year, getting a lot better and improving, especially in these games that, come down to the little moments. They just haven't come out on top in those games. They can play really good for 85 minutes, but it's the 5 minutes where, they let in an easy goal or something happens. That's how you get behind in JP in soccer. It's a lot harder to make up those goals than it is in some other more high-scoring sports.
Absolutely. And with the way these two teams play, goals will be at a premium tonight. It could really come down to something South Carolina has struggled with, which is defending corner kicks. Although James Madison doesn't get to the corner as much as other squads, it still could prove challenging. As in that game against Kentucky, both of Kentucky's goals came off corner kicks. West Virginia's winning goal came on a corner kick. So there's a giant kind of linchpin thing that South Carolina has to be better at. And if they are, the sky's truly the limit with this team. They've shown they can compete with the top teams across the country. In a tough conference, a big thing here, these are two of the teams that are best in the country in goal differential. So they've really been playing well all year long.
But teams really don't allow many goals. James Madison, JP, only letting in 7 on the entire season.
Ranked second amongst everybody in Division I.
It's an incredibly low number. But again, the sun's setting right behind us. We see on our screen there. It's a beautiful, beautiful picture. Sandstorm rings out, and we are underway right here at Soane Stadium. The Gamecocks are going to start with the ball. Just pass it around back. And again, for this game, JP, you don't want to say anything is definite, but you got to think whichever team scores first is going to have a big advantage.
Yeah, and I think we'll see the patented parking of the bus, if you will, even after just one goal, because these are two teams that
they can lock it up at back, yeah.
Yep, and they play very aggressive defense, though, so we'll see if they can generate maybe some chances early on while the teams are kind of in the feeling each other out stage.
That's right. The Dukes send it all the way back to Conlon in goal. He's been outstanding this year. Physical challenge in the midfield sees South Carolina coming up and trying to make a play, but the Dukes might have a bit of a break here. As they play it forward. That's Southern in the box now. Sliding challenge from Goldsworthy sends that out of play for a throw-in. But again, nice play there from James Madison to get in behind and really do a good job of getting forward and taking advantage of kind of the Gamecocks' aggression.
Yeah, but then guess what? It was Andrew Goldsworthy making another stellar defensive play. There are two ways that these teams are different from each other. South Carolina, much better at scoring goals. They're a lot higher in the country in that. But the big thing for James Madison is they're very disciplined. Both teams actually are, really. They don't give out many free passes in terms of red or yellow cards. But James Madison is one of the best teams in the country in save percentage, while South Carolina is rather pedestrian. So when James Madison does get chances, they'll probably, you feel more confident in their ability to score than when South Carolina might get some.
I think so, and I don't think you can really discredit Vistier with a lot of those because especially, looking at some recent moments, with all these goals scored against corner kicks, it's been really hard for him to even get a read on the ball whenever they're just coming right at him and he's seeing a lot of tough looks in front of net. But
yeah, it's important to have that context because it really doesn't. It paints Vistier in a bad light, but it's like in hockey. Like sometimes the goals aren't on the goaltender, even though,
in the numbers it looks that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where kind of the games aren't always played on paper comes into effect.
Absolutely, and I promise I'd be keeping you up in more action, but it's just been some back and forth, just both teams getting loose. As Kowalski with a nice challenge will kind of set the Gamecocks up in the opposing half, but they'll just pass it back. It's Goldsworthy over to Nielsen. Right near the midfield line, Bagar back to Nielsen. Be a switching pass all the way over to Atienza. So they're going to look forward. Just kidding. We'll send it back over to Nielsen on this near side. Bagar, typical everyday left back for this team. Good interception there from Luka Nikolai, but a slide tackle from Nielsen almost keeps it in play, but it just goes out on the touchline. Throw in James Madison. Speaking of Luka Nikolai, I mean, this guy was outstanding, not only this year, but last season, I think really, setting a lot of people, putting a lot of attention on himself in the best way possible, JP.
Absolutely. And, Harrison Myring almost just got, stitches needed. He almost got that sweet chin music.
Tuning up the band.
Yeah. For South Carolina, they're a team that really can't
Don't
afford.
die on me, pal.
Yeah, I'm trying not to, but they're a team that really can't afford more injuries. They've suffered two guys like Gabe Nickerson. Of course, Junior St. Just out for the season with the torn ACL.
It's been two guys on the wings, really, at the opposing positions, the right and left kind of midfield winger positions. And you can definitely tell that those guys have been key losses as they were instrumental in this team's, best start since 2003.
And they're so good at denying the ball on the wings in the corners that you have to think maybe some of those corner kicks where opponents have scored might not have even materialized if they had those guys.
We'll see if the flag goes up here. It won't matter as the ball just goes out of play on James Madison attempted a long ball played out from back.
Hail Mary.
But as we were talking about Luka Nikolai, he's a sophomore this year. Last year as a freshman, JP, he's a freshman All-American in multiple publications and also first-team All-Sun Belt in that kind of – he's playing that right back role, but he's been creeping forward a lot. And I think he's a guy you got to circle as in their most recent victory, it was a 2-0 win over Kentucky. He had an assist and the second goal in that one, and definitely one to watch for. James Madison has it now. A good clearance there from Nielsen to try and get the ball out, and they'll get it to Bagar as looked like James Madison almost had a great opportunity to get in the box, but nice quick passing as Bagar's got some space over here. He's going to play it forward to Myring. Myring, bad touch, just sends it out of bounds as it was Cameron Arnold in pursuit, but looked like he might have been in behind if he was able to control that just a little better.
Yeah, and you could really kind of see that James Madison, turnover, the South Carolina turnover coming. James Madison was playing so up on their defense and pressuring even the simplest of passes. They were jumping all over those passing lanes.
Yeah, and sometimes that's what we see South Carolina do, especially when they kind of flip the field like this and really pressure the goal. And again, I didn't mention it before, but South Carolina in this first half is working right to left. James Madison working left to right. So if you hear anything directional now, you know. As Conlon passes it back. So that's going to be Blanton trying to move it forward. And they do. They found Aguilar in the midfield. He's been a guy to watch, the team's leading goal scorer this year with 4. So the Dukes just seem content just passing it around back right now and working these passing lanes. South Carolina forces a dangerous one, but
Oh, yeah, offside the call on South Carolina there.
it's going to be offside.
Oh, excuse me. Jesus. James Madison.
Yes.
Kind of an interesting place for offsides to be called. That's why, I had
No,
pause.
I was confused too. I didn't know if this near side official was calling something else, but the South Carolina defensive line was pushed so far up that the Dukes were offside, so it's going to be a free kick. And tell you what, Evan Southern really not a fan. Been John with the official about it the whole time. Doesn't matter. It's Jonah Bagar is going to try and take the free kick, but don't think he's been.
Doesn't really feel like it.
Yeah, he's finally been whistled to play. Sends it out wide to Kowalski, and the Gamecocks have momentum. Ballack plays it back to him. Just a tough touch off Kowalski, but it goes all the way into Conlon, who quickly gets on top of it. As almost a fluky play led to the first real chance for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, and that was just, Ballack has been one of the South Carolina's premier offensive players this year.
Yeah, that's a foul on William Nielsen. It was actually a great goal kick from Conlon. Not something you hear, but low. It had a lot of spin on it. Really set Kevin Larson off and running if William Nielsen didn't drag him down. So I think a really smart foul there. And he doesn't get carded for it. You'll take that every single time, JP.
Absolutely. And, in the early stages of this one, I feel like James Madison, when they get possession, they start, even if they kind of get possession in the midfield area, they'll work it back and then try to work the full length of the field. Meanwhile, when South Carolina gets it so far, they kind of just try to get out and go from where they end up getting the ball.
They do, and Luca Nicolai's going to whip in a ball. It goes through the legs of Goldsworthy and almost played in there to Evan Southern in the box. Another one, Goldsworthy clears outside the box, fires on goal. It's deflected up. Another shot by Southern, and just a flurry of attacks there. As James Madison, they really went for it that time, had about 3 shots. None of them found Philip Vistier, but these deflections could have been costly.
Yeah, and an uncharacteristic mistake there by Goldsworthy. It just took an odd bounce, so it's hard to even qualify it as a mistake.
I wonder if he tried to let it go through his legs and have another defender clear it, but something was off in the communication there as he almost just let a James Madison attacker just have a free shot.
That would have been almost as bad as Jonah Bagar passing it right to North Florida to tie the game. Something I'm still quite not over, of course.
Hey, it wasn't his finest moment, but, we can
been a long
confidently
time
say, yeah,
but
he's gotten
it's
so
still
much
just
better.
as hot up here.
It is. In the box, cross fired in. Goal kick is, not sure if that was trying to be flicked on or what it was, but James Madison couldn't direct it to the goal, and the Gamecocks have successfully defended the corner kick.
They have indeed. I think they were trying to get it out in front there. They had a man, but it didn't quite get the right angle off of his leg.
Yeah, and you'll definitely take that if you're South Carolina by any means necessary. If you cannot concede on a corner kick, make James Madison beat you by doing something a little bit more than just, whipping the ball into the boxes. That's too easy, especially, if it's an elaborate set piece and something really cool happens and James Madison, reinvents the wheel, does something awesome. I think you can be okay with that. But the way Kentucky was doing it, they just got really close and just pressed Vistier. And South Carolina just let it happen.
It's like running the same inbounds play over and over again, but they don't.
But it works every time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For lack of a better analogy when talking about the University of Kentucky.
Yeah, there you go. It's never forget Jack Golke. As the Gamecocks are going to work it forward. Revenlow plays a nice ball up to Myring, knocks it down for Velasquez Lopez, and Ballack almost gets into the box, but a nice claim there from the goalie Conlon. That could have been dangerous if that one got to Ballack.
But Conlon's been locked in, coming out of his area to make some plays. Almost called it the crease like 18 times. I'm still readjusting from the world of the ice hockey, but
hey, we've got fans that know us from both. Am I right?
Oh, that's the truth, Nuke. But something, kind of how I touched on what each team is doing, kind of as they get the ball. I think that lends itself more to South Carolina because the energy James Madison is expending when they try to play it all the way back and then work across, it requires so much to go right to generate a good chance. And for South Carolina, you have a better chance of having something break your way. And we'll see. Although, the two chances in this game have both gone to James Madison.
That's right, and South Carolina's had some, almost had some balls kind of fall into their lap in the James Madison box, but still working it forward. Here's Jonah Bagar. Velasquez Lopez to his left. He plays it back to Revenlow.
And Revenlow, really that emotional leader of this team, somebody who's really kept the team together during these tough stretches of conference play.
Yeah, I definitely, you could call him the engine of the team, if you will. I don't know if you'll see a guy, maybe Andrew Goldsworthy, that, works harder and you can really see it in their play. Nielsen plays it forward. Velasquez Lopez flicks it on to Revenlow. That's a nice piece of skill. Myring tried to get it over to Ballack, just didn't fall. James Madison's just going to slowly dribble it towards midfield. JP, a little over 10 minutes in, I'm pretty impressed with how the Gamecocks are not only defending James Madison's attack, but so far they're really trying to cut out passing lanes. Just like this, as Bagar intercepts just a pass that was too slow, and the aggression pays off. And that's, South Carolina's made that a bit of a trademark of their team so far.
Yes, they have. And, just like the football team forcing turnovers, South Carolina's men's soccer team doing it just the same on the pitch instead of the football field.
On the pitch.
But, like you said, I think early returns were good for James Madison, but now the pendulum's starting to swing over to the Gamecocks. And it's always like this for South Carolina. I would,
it's the next.
Not saying that I would put money, but, if there was a goal scored in this first half, I think it would be between the 20 to 27 minute mark.
I was just about to say that like 18 to 28 minute mark, it's usually chaotic for either squad, that is, whoever scores. That's a common time as Revenlow looks for a ball in. He'll just dribble it up to Velasquez Lopez. He gets it back. A nice 1-2 from the boys. They'll play it up to that far touch line. Moving forward is Myring. He's got some pace. He's already into the box. Great slide tackle. We'll see if it's going to be called. Looks like a goal kick. Some nice defending there from James Madison. But again, I don't think you're mad about that at all, as Myring took one touch and just got past Blanton.
No, and without that sliding denial by James Madison, Myring had a chance to bury a goal, and
or cross it across the face of goal. So really, you always love when you have multiple options there. Switch ball played to Atienza. Gets it to Cargill. Nice interception there, but it falls to Revenlow. He gets it forward to Velasquez Lopez. Back to Revenlow. About 30 yards out. He'll cross one in. Doesn't fall to anyone but a Duke. Goldsworthy does a great job of coming forward aggressively and winning a challenge. They will call a foul, as looks like someone got Goldsworthy's leg. It's going to be a free kick to the Gamecocks again. Just about 10 yards left of midfield. So we near the 15-minute mark elapsed so far. We've got 31-ish left on the clock. The Gamecocks play the free kick quickly. They'll just pass it back and forth. Nielsen to Goldsworthy. Goldsworthy to Revenlow, and they do a good job beating the initial press. Cargill gets it. Nielsen has it now in the left with some space. He gets it forward to Bagar. Moves it forward to Velasquez Lopez. Wanted it back, but just unable. He's still making an overlapping run. But the Gamecocks just switch sides of the field. Now it's Kowalski on this right side.
And this is a situation where you really miss Junior St. Jude's.
Ball in the box. Conlon comes out to claim it as nice opportunity, just a little too far out in front of Myring. JP, what were you saying about St. Jude's?
Well, yeah, before, that awesome attempt by South Carolina, but I almost have another.
Yeah, we'll see what this is. As Nikolai switches it for James Madison. Now they're in the box. Great physical tackle as South Carolina loses it. Just went through the legs of Cargill. I think we've got a moment, JP.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Those kinds of moments where you have, Junior St. Jude, renowned for his defensive ability and his booming leg on kicks, to clear the ball. But also when you get into those offensive situations where you're in the attacking third, he commanded that right wing so well with his ability to really put the ball wherever the Gamecocks could possibly want for an attempt on goal, or even, curling it around from the right wing for a shot on goal. You miss that a lot because the talent of that is, it's not that South Carolina doesn't have players who can kick the ball, of course, but the booming leg of St. Jude's, multifaceted in the ability to impact the game.
Yeah, he's really good at, crossing the ball in and finding guys in the box. And I think you're right that the team has missed that, but, it's up to the guys behind him to step up as we've got a Duke, I believe, still down. He's finally up, but the clock did stop at 29-29. We're about to be underway, but, JP, I think this is the perfect opportunity to talk about the Dukes last season. It was one of their best seasons in program history. They performed really well in the Sun Belt. In some metrics, they were ranked the number 8 team in the country, before tournament time. But in the NCAA poll, they were number 18. They made it all the way to the third round of the tournament where they fell to Loyola Marymount 1-0. But, that just shows you that this team is really high quality. And when talking about tournament time, a South Carolina win would be just massive for them, especially against a team like James Madison that doesn't lose a lot.
Exactly, and we're entering the crunch time of the entire world and universe. Because as Jonah Bagar almost just had an excellent opportunity.
Yeah, it unfortunately got headed off his head, and don't know if he was quite ready for that. Don't know who would be, but James Madison controls it in goal. They play it out to Blanton on the far side. He's going to try and play it forward. Nice play from Kowalski, just cutting that out and not letting James Madison work. And he's going to take it up the right wing. Great physical play. Looking for a foul call. From our vantage point, it looked like he should have given it.
Kowalski hit his defender with a stiff arm there, which I'm not sure you can really even do in soccer. But,
I don't think that's a move.
No. And for James Madison, Luka Nikolai just threw his hands up in frustration. He kind of had an avenue on the right wing. But James Madison has not worked the ball this way at all, truthfully. On that right wing, closer to us. It seems they're favoring that left wing approach, which I'm not sure really is the move considering South Carolina's consolidation of their defenders.
Yeah,
you have Goldsworthy and a very experienced cohort over there.
Yeah, and Nikolai, really the best James Madison attack of the night started on this right wing that's closest to us. And it was when he got involved, whipped in a pass, and caused just chaos at the back line. And fortunately, it didn't hurt South Carolina. But for James Madison, it's odd that they aren't circling that as an area they want to attack because it would make a lot of sense to me, JP.
Yeah, and, I feel like when we've seen teams have success against Carolina while we've been here and, watching them when we're not, it has been attacking that right wing. So, I'm very interested to see how that attacking plan develops throughout the course of the game for James Madison.
South Carolina works it into the box. Myring plays it off Blanton for a corner kick. The Gamecocks first of the night. JP, we're in attacking position now, and it would be great to see South Carolina score off a corner. They don't do it too often. I know Camden Kowalski found his head to one of them on the road, but again, finding one of those here, it would be really nice. And again, scoring first, I think, is crucial in this one because it changes how your opponent plays. And maybe that's most important because that could either, maybe James Madison or South Carolina would equalize, but maybe you go up 2-0 as it's whipped in, and not a great corner kick there, not enough on it, and Josiah Blanton just really guarding that near post.
As the forward for James Madison got helicoptered.
Spun out, yeah. I believe that's Evan Southern who just went for a whirl there. Not sure who tackled him, but whoever it is wins South Carolina the ball at the 26-minute mark and counting. 19 minutes through this one. JP, what have you liked from the home team here?
Well, I've really loved their aggression on defense, but also the patience they've shown. Especially they're working it a lot on the right wing themselves, which is a little bit different from what, I think we're used to.
Sure is. Velasquez Lopez gets it in the box. Ballack fires. It's a goal. South Carolina scores. It's a great ball into the box from Alejandro Velasquez Lopez and a left-footed finish from Ethan Ballack, and just like that.
I kid you not. I was on the cusp of saying, I'm interested to see if South Carolina works a little bit more to the left to Alejandro Velasquez Lopez, who has been so good shooting from the midfield area to that kind of left wing area. And, they work it to him, and he just puts on a beauty of a shot. It was such a tough play because it kind of looked like it was going wide, and then at the last minute, hard left. Lots of spin on that one.
Yeah, Velasquez Lopez, he found Ethan Ballack just kind of making a little bit of a small cutting run into the box and was just able to, curl it past the outstretched fingers of Conlon. I think Conlon got a little on it, and it deflected in off the post. It's the Gamecocks who strike first here at Stone Stadium. They take a 1-0 lead in the 20th minute.
Hey, D, you look into it. When was this goal scored? What was the time range, Spencer?
20 on the nose, JP, and it's a goal from Ethan Ballack, assisted by Alejandro Velasquez-Lopez.
That must be why it took such a random left turn. It was deflected.
And Velasquez-Lopez back to Ballack. They're right outside the box again. Myring now. He fires, just misses outside the net as that one was ripped.
That's a tough angle for us. You could have convinced me that was actually a goal. But, being serious, for South Carolina, that's so huge because normally when those first goals have been allowed, it's been at the Gamecocks' expense, and they've been trying to play catch-up. And now, against a team that's notorious for tying, you can be aggressive because they're gonna start picking up the pace. You can be aggressive and try to get yourself a multi-goal lead, which for a team like James Madison is going to be very hard to overcome.
I think you're absolutely right, and that's what we were talking about before the break. As James Madison finds somebody in the box, it's Southern. Nielsen just wins it, and he's dragged down by Southern. It looks like he gets RKO'd, and finally we get a foul call there as Evan Southern was just looking for blood there on Nielsen, it looked like.
He was. And, while it's not a record-setting crowd like many we've seen here at Stone Stadium, it's still a nice draw for the Gamecocks.
And it really...
a midweek game against a team that South Carolina fans might not be too familiar with.
Yeah, and, it's picked up, I think, every time we look up. There's still people filing in here on Western night, JP. I mean, a pretty awesome...
Yeah, I love Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, I mean, me too, man. And
Tombstone.
Old country music. I mean, this is...
Oh.
I mean, don't get
The
us started
Highwaymen.
on the Man in Black.
Oh.
But
rest in peace, Chris Christopherson.
Gotta shout out the man. As we're almost halfway through the first half. Again, as we were talking about the South Carolina goal, we're talking about them being more aggressive and how the first team that scores, it's going to change the way both teams play. We're seeing James Madison already be more aggressive. Nikolai, again, up in arms over here on this right wing.
Dude, he's livid.
But you want to maybe see a little bit more of a team player mentality, but also
he's not exactly wrong.
He's he's one of the best players on the team, and that's Aguilar sent flying. But no foul calls. It was all ball. South Carolina wins a throw in here in their own defensive end.
Even Cocky showed up late.
He did. Where was Cocky? That's a great point. I mean, our own fabled mascot shows up late and might even have missed the goal. He missed another.
I think I saw him flapping
Okay.
his beak.
Yeah,
his very flexible, malleable beak.
He was chirping for that Gamecock goal. They're going to say out of bounds on Ethan Ballack there, but, if we had a video camera, you might have noticed the high boot at the head of Velasquez-Lopez. I think that's what Tony Annan's a little upset about because...
Well, you say that you might have noticed. It would have been just us. Once again, we must apologize for the lack of a camera.
Well, also, the camera would also just be on us.
That's true. We could have We could have reenacted it, though.
Yeah, you're just missing, the look at two sweaty guys who've, been working all day. So
don't want to work. I just want to watch Gamecock soccer all day. That doesn't really roll well.
That's how the song goes. Is Bagar with a nice move to not lose possession. He finally does, but it's still a throw-in for South Carolina regardless.
And what a play by Kevin Larson there. Really kind of just putting Bagar in a very uncomfortable position where he couldn't really get anything going.
Yeah, Bagar prevailed, but I think that's the stuff we're probably going to see from the Dukes a lot more. Become a lot more aggressive, really challenge the point of attack and try and get some more offensive chances going. We haven't seen them do much offensively since the 37-minute mark. That was when all that, and that was the 8-minute mark, of course. The clock, works backwards.
It's true.
But that was when that happened as a ball's launched forward. South Carolina looks to get in behind, but the Dukes play it well.
That had the makings of an excellent through pass, but a timely boot from a James Madison player got to it.
Yeah, really heads-up play. I believe that was Atienza who just launched it forward. James Madison is going to try and work it, I think, to the right winger. Luka Nikolai down here, number 14, is calling for it. Actually, they just turned right back, and Pitu sends it the other way. Blanton has it now on the far side. He works it into the midfield. It's Dimitri Turner. Pass takes a bad deflection for James Madison, and they have to send it all the way back to Conlon in net, and that just allows the Gamecocks to really bring that defensive line forward and reapply pressure.
And this is where South Carolina, they excel, but, in these games against conference opponents, we've kind of seen them almost get a little too aggressive and overextend themselves, leaving themselves open to a counterattack, which may be unfolding in front of our very eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they over-pursued this time, but again, James Madison is really going to look to get in behind of South Carolina whenever they see the home team advance. So they've got it on this far side. Tries to play through ball. Nice tackle there from Revenlow as he wins the ball, and Goldsworthy's going to launch it forward to Harrison Myring. Looks like he's onside. He's in a one-on-one with a defender, tries the cutback and loses the ball in the box. But what an outlet pass from Andrew Goldsworthy. Kicked it like 60 yards forward and almost found the British forward in for what could have been the Gamecocks' second goal. Now it's the Dukes trying a through ball of their own, and it connects. Evan Southern has it now on the right wing. He pulls the back play, gets it over to Nikolai.
Who finally gets the ball. Oh,
He does. And
he was complaining up until that pass to him.
And Evan Southern acts like he's just been shot, and time will stop as.
Oh, I think that hit a valuable area.
Yeah, we're seeing that now. Didn't quite know what it hit, but you know if you know that one hurts.
And speaking of, I just saw a child eat it on the stairs, running up the stairs. For some
ceaseless injuries out here.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to raid the press box.
God.
Luckily, hopefully Southern's okay though. I mean, it looks like he just took a shot below the belt, so I think that everybody's going to get a water break and they're going to give him the time he needs because JP, I'm sure you can relate to that one. It's just no fun.
Well, in real sport, they wear cups, most of the time, and in sports I played. So.
Yeah. No, I played.
I stopped
tennis.
myself. I don't dislike soccer. I don't. This has been
You're
a fun
learning
game
to like
so
it.
far.
That's right. It's a great
Well,
one.
let's not get too far. But in this interlude, we'll do a quick little stat update. 4 shots on for James Madison. No shots on goal. However, they have committed 3 fouls. So for James Madison, I think they're starting to feel it now. The early deficit they put themselves in. They're not usually the team that concedes the first goal.
Usually they're not the team that concedes. Again, we've
They-
talked
yeah,
about
it's
it. They're
just-
really not used to it.
Today was just the 8th goal allowed by James Madison all year long. And, frankly, I'm very interested to see how they approach an early deficit when they're going to have so much time to find the equalizer, but they're a team that's not built for coming from behind.
And you got to love the sportsmanship. Ethan Ballot goes up to Evan Southern, make sure he's okay. As he's still walking a little funny, but, he'll be all right. It's going to be a drop ball here for James Madison, I believe. Uncontested, of course, at the 1949 mark. Again, we're counting down. So just under 20 minutes to go as Blanton will play it back to the rest of the defense. Is Pete with it now? He gets it to Nikolai Begar and Velasquez Lopez in pursuit. Velasquez Lopez knocks it out for a throw-in, but Nikolai plays it quickly and wisely so. So it gets played forward for another throw-in. That was Chase Strine doing a good job just reading the eyes of his teammate and moving forward. This throw-in will look back as they find Dimitri Turner in the midfield.
Turner took it, he
Just
got
took a
eaten by the
dive.
No, it was the turf monster, I think, that got him.
Oh,
You can see the divot.
I didn't mean that in a negative connotation that he flopped.
Meanwhile,
There's a bad tackle from Southern there. Sends Revenlow to the dirt. He gets back up, and Velasquez takes the free kick early. He sends it back to Vistier, and now it's Goldsworthy with it. As we see James Madison are really trying to crank up the pressure here. As Cargill has it, the Gamecocks do respond well.
and it's really, what got James Madison their last real chance and their best chance. Playing up like this, I mean, look at how their defenders are placed. They have kind of a trio on their back line, but
Begar plays it all the way forward to Myring. It's, again, not a great touch from Myring, but I think he was looking for a deflection to win a throw-in. Doesn't go his way, and the Dukes have it on the near side touchline. But again, every time, you play the ball forward, you can see the speed of Myring, and just if he's able to keep it at his feet, I mean, he is really a threat to get in and get a shot on goal.
I think that's where South Carolina has the big advantage. I think that, the speed and athleticism on display, not to say that James Madison isn't talented, but they're built for a different style of the game. In South Carolina, while they do play a similar style to James Madison, they can get out and run when they need to.
And, I think the game state right now, a 1-0 Carolina lead, definitely favors South Carolina in that type of matchup. If they're able to make it 2-0, we've seen James Madison, score more than 2 goals in a game. But, so far tonight, it seems like they'd really have to shift to an attacking mindset to do so. South Carolina has a throw-in. It's Goldsworthy taking it a long throw into the box. Nobody gets really ahead to it. It just gets deflected out. As Velasquez Lopez sends it all the way back to Revenlow. He's going to go back to Vistier with it, and they're just going to go back to their shape. The defenders ranging back. Vistier's going to play it over to Goldsworthy. Down to Begar. Begar has Nielsen on this left side. He's going to opt long. Tries to find Myring in the box. A little too much juice on it. And Conlon makes an easy grab. He's been really good at coming out of goal and getting these passes early before they come into the box.
Absolutely, and
it's a great ball for James Madison. Played all the way down to Nikolai, who's breakneck speed, just gets it. He'll send a cross in. Great block there from Nielsen, but that was a great pass there from Pitu. Sent it maybe 80 yards, JP. I mean, that was just a missile.
And you can kind of see that that's James Madison's, I think, best play to get the ball.
Nielsen, great effort there. He gets taken down from Nikolai, but on the throw-in, he just out-hustled him there to win the ball back and draw a foul. As you were saying, you know, there's been some action, so I've been,
the number one rule of being a color commentator is to shut up when anything cool is happening.
That's
and it's an important rule to follow.
You know what?
Because you don't want to rob your guy of, like, oh, here, speaking of which.
Great through ball there from Revenlow. It was a 1-2, and he's got Kowalski on the right wing. He's going to pull back play, finds Ballack just outside the box. He finds Revenlow now. He's going to pass it into Begar, who's in the box. It's a great team ball. In the box now, Velasquez Lopez fires, blocked, saved by Conlon. And it's going to be a foul on Velasquez Lopez as Conlon was coming out. JP, that was some of the best team ball we've seen from this squad all year long. Maybe some of the best in Stone Stadium this season.
Yeah, and it really, I think, speaks to the chemistry this team has developed over the course of this season. You really see them starting to come together, and for a team that's so young, I think it bleeds, or, you know, it kind of breeds really well what South Carolina is doing behind the scenes.
I think you're absolutely right, but again, that was just quick passing, a deep outlet pass, and they found a good opportunity in the box. It was just blocked when Velasquez Lopez tried it. So this one's going to go out for a goal kick. James Madison, just the switch ball going awry. There's going to be some substitutions coming on. Number 3, it's Jordan McMillan for the Dukes, leaving Jeffrey Aguilar. Also coming on, got a number 5. You have a number 5 on there, JP?
Number 5. Let's take a look. See.
I do. It's Milo Ray. He wasn't on their roster online, but he is now. That's Dimitri Turner and Jeffrey Aguilar coming off again. That's for Milo Ray and Jordan McMillan coming on for the Dukes. So a couple substitutions, maybe more attacking-minded, but Aguilar is their leading goal scorer, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, James Madison currently has like 5 players up, 3 in the kind of mid area, and then 3 on their back line. So they're being very aggressive in their defensive setup right now.
They are, but this is what we expected from South Carolina, trying to, you know, beat the press, if you will, and then get out and run. It's like textbook 2K, you know, someone full court presses. If you can beat the initial trap, you know, you've got a lot of space in front of you. James
you could
Madison.
Just said basketball.
I did. I was. Yeah, God, that's a rough look for me. I referenced the basketball video game and not the actual sport, but you are right. As Nikolai has it now outside the 18. Slide tackle from Begar, and he holds the ball. That's impressive from the left back. Now he's up and running. It's a through ball looking for Myring. Horrible touch from James Madison. Gives it right back to him. Ballack now near the midfield circle. Works it back to Ted Cargill. And the Gamecocks will slow it down. That was really, really nice play from Begar.
Absolutely. You know, Cargill's someone we haven't really said the name of a lot, but it's in a good way. He hasn't made like a big mistake or had a bad touch. He's just kind of been a very solid player, especially on the defensive side.
Yeah, and he's one of the guys who gets involved in a lot of the outlet passing. You know, maybe not the final guy or the first guy's name we call, but in the middle, you know, Ted Cargill is often involved in some of those key passes. James Madison looks to move forward now. It's Ray with it. So they'll play it forward to Blanton. And again, now James Madison really only has 2 at the back. It's a cross into the box. Vistier, great claim there, as that one would have been dangerous if he let McMillan get into him, but takes a page out of Conlon's book. We've seen him do that a lot. Just come out and meet the ball before you have to, you know, have it refired at you.
Absolutely.
Kowalski with it now on the far side. Goldsworthy just clear that up into the air and buy some space for South Carolina. Atienza heads it down to Ballack. Ballack lost it for a second, but wins it back. He's taken down by Ray, and that's a foul. And the Gamecocks will have a free kick. 12.5 left to go here in the first.
And, you know, as this time ticks away, South Carolina, of course, looking to avoid giving up this lead right before the break. That would be a brutal blow. So it's kind of, you know, straddling that fine line of bouncing, pushing to extend your lead because, you know, another goal before the break could crush JMU, but you also don't want to give up something that takes the wind out of your sails.
Absolutely. Ballack looked for Velasquez Lopez. It was cut out. South Carolina still with it. Begar to Velasquez Lopez. Shot fired on just over the top right corner. That would have been a beauty if it curled its way in.
I mean, that was the Velasquez Lopez experience right there. I mean, what a shot. I mean, even though it didn't go in, that's the talent on display. He put it
just an inch high.
So close to the point where if it had been a goal, there's nothing the goalkeeper could have done.
And there's Ted Cargill. He gets it forward to Myring, who's in the box. He's got Ballack. Not a great pass back as it's easily cut out. So now it's James Madison trying to work it forward.
I don't think he anticipated Ballack crashing as hard as he did. He kind of passed it more at the top of the box.
Spagar looked to pass it into the midfield, but found the head of a JMU player as they're going to work it forward. Now Nikolai on the near side line. Fake the cross. He'll work it inside. Has a lot of space and wisely passes it to Ray. We'll just switch it to that far side. There's a left winger up there. Atienza got a piece of it, so the pass rolls in slowly to McMillan. He gets it back to Ray. They'll play it forward. Atienza, good header to cut that one out. And there's Cargill. 2 great moments from him. Myring plays it to Ballack. He's got Velasquez Lopez and about 30 yards in front of him. He takes it well, looks for a through ball in. Cut out by Conlon. That was almost a sick pass. I mean, if there was a little bit more space to work with, he would have found Myring just racing into the box there. Again, Conlon, JP, you got to give him a lot of credit. Don't think he's made any mistakes so far tonight, and he's done a great job at coming out of goal and being aggressive.
Absolutely. You know, that one goal against, very
just
tough.
A great goal, and he got his fingers to it. Just couldn't quite get enough on the ball.
Yeah, there's really just not much he could have done in that situation. And as we hit about 10 minutes left in this first half,
Nikolai's going to whip in across, finds the head of Goldsworthy, and he's a little upset no one got to it. A very emotional player we're seeing.
Yeah.
Velasquez Lopez does a great job to get it to Revan Lowe on an outlet. He's moving forward and just still trucking. Looks like he's going to win a. They're going to call that a JMU free kick. It looked to be.
I think Revan Lowe was mostly, you know, he was kind of waiting for his teammates to kind of get into position. And they all just kind of watched him dribble on by.
And then he was going to win a throw-in. Gets taken down. I guess it was all ball. We couldn't see it too well. Coming off for the Dukes as they're making more subs is Evan Southern and Luca Nikolai. Coming on for them, I believe it was Manuel Lolas and Aiden Melville. So 2 new guys as JMU's already burned through 2 substitutions and have 4 new players on the pitch as they look to score as we're officially under 10 minutes now in the first half. Again, South Carolina has a 1-0 lead. 1-0, excuse me, let me adopt to the layman's term here as Ethan Ballack found a goal in the 20th minute. JMU looking for a forward pass, kicks it out of bounds, and we're under 9. Excuse me, that was not Luca Nikolai that came out. He was coming over for a water break, so someone else must have sneakily subbed off. But I know we got the 2 guys that came on right.
Well, yeah, that's all that matters.
I kind of agree with you. It's a little bit more important. And I would have been really surprised if they took Nikolai off as, again, even though he's wearing his heart on his sleeve, he has been really good on this right wing and seemingly the orchestrator of a lot of this offense.
Absolutely.
Vistier's going to play it long on the goal kick. Looking for Myring. He doesn't win the header, but it almost falls to a Gamecock boot. Instead, the Dukes have it, and they'll work it forward. Trying to get past Cargill, but nice physical play. They'll actually just call the foul there on Cargill, and I think actually that'll favor the Gamecocks as JMU might have had a chance to get by him and cross one in.
Yeah, and the time keeps ticking away. James Madison, kind of running out of chances here in the first half. But South Carolina, I think right now they're content to go into the locker room with a 1-0 lead. And they'll continue to just try and deny James Madison any chance of the equalizer.
They are, but again, if I'm South Carolina, JP, I think you got to keep being aggressive. You're really close. You've knocked on the door. You've already kicked it down once, but, why not do it again? Especially, I think James Madison has not been particularly great at passing around the back so far tonight. Made a couple mistakes, and that's kind of how South Carolina has had a couple chances.
Some kind of foul there on James Madison. Not exactly sure what
Yeah,
it was, but possession will go back to the Gamecocks.
Yeah, it looked like someone just had a foul on Atienza there on that far right-hand side. Vistier with it now. He'll get it up to Jonah Bagar. Nikolai's going to head it back, but finds the feet of Velasquez Lopez. He's got no one, so he'll just send it all the way back to goal. It's a smart play. So those passing lanes quickly clog up. Kowalski has it, plays it off of Lolas on that left side for James Madison. And it's a nice play, but the pass forward, not too good as JMU plays it all the way back to Conlon. But they'll again kind of restart as Pitu has it. He plays a long ball forward, looking for McMillan. It's a header over to Bigard. Does a great job reacting to it as it wasn't right to him. The Gamecocks have possession and a little bit of space to work with, but you can see how James Madison have kind of adjusted here, JP, is they're really pressing hard on these passing lanes.
Absolutely, and for South Carolina, this is arguably their most important part of the game because
it's a turnover. And James Madison has it in the box, and Nielsen does a really good job of kind of shutting the door there as James Madison almost had a chance, as you were talking about.
Exactly.
The most important part of the game.
Oh, it's the most dangerous because South Carolina, I think they're trying to get to halftime, but you can't afford to be lackadaisical or commit stupid penalties.
Well, and that will be a bit of a silly foul there on Ethan Ballack. He just pushed somebody down, but him and the ref, a little pat on the back, everything's okay. And it did allow James Madison to get forward, so I think if, South Carolina just is able to snuff out the attack, it won't be too bad as we're at the 5.5-minute mark left to go in this first half. Blanton has it for the Dukes on this left wing for them. So they might look to switch play here. They'll get it forward to Ray. Back to Blanton. Working it slow, but South Carolina's going to close in and, force him to actually make a move here. Pitu has it now on this near side line. He's got lots of bodies forward for him. He chooses to just pass it to Ray. Ray sends it over to his left. James Madison just moving side to side, but slowly forward. Blanton has it. He gets it to a midfielder. Cuts back, but again, South Carolina's there. They're not able to really get past this back wall right now. So Blanton will just go all the way back to Ian Graham. Nice move there from Pitu to dodge Harrison Myring, who's really trying to get a hold of that ball. Blanton gets it forward. Atienza marks him. And again, Nikolai praying for a switch ball. He finally gets it. He plays it back to Pitu. Is South Carolina doing a really good job of shifting to where the pressure is. James Madison switches again, now to the left side. Atienza there. He takes a spill on the grass. It's crossed in. And Nielsen, great job denying that kind of backside entry there as James Madison would have been in the box. Had a good chance on goal. It's going to be a throw-in for South Carolina.
Yeah, and
they'll blow the whistle there. South Carolina looking for a sub, weren't able to take the throw-in quick.
Yeah, it'll be Val Della Grazia coming on for the Gamecocks.
For Harrison Myring, and we haven't seen him a lot.
No, we have not. The freshman from Florham Park, New Jersey, has not recorded a stat on the year, but South Carolina has a lot of depth pieces. It's their first sub of the half, and it's interesting because their team is so conditioned. They play a lot of their top guys for vast swaths of the game.
They do, and it's Myring coming out for De La Grazia. Got to think maybe they just want some pace to end out the half.
Exactly. Maybe get your, have a nice gritty, tough end to the first half. Give your stars some rest, and then come out of the second half, ready to rock and roll.
And De La Grazia is playing the role really well. He's already applying lots of pressure, but look at James Madison. They're scrambling as, South Carolina really trying to get this ball in open space. Try and get numbers moving forward. James Madison desperately trying to equalize here as, they just look to move forward, and it's a great 1-2. Blanton, it's the ball is blocked by Kowalski. The cross is now it's James Madison setting up for a corner. Got to think if you're the set piece coach for South Carolina, you've kind of been dreading this moment, JP. You really, if you could only allow one corner this game and you defended it, would have been great. But at the 2:30 mark, James Madison's going to get corner number 2.
Surely nothing terrible will happen.
Let's hope not. It's whipped in. It's a good cross. They get their head to it. It falls. Looks like this here makes a save. It's just blocked in a mass of bodies. And the Gamecocks miraculously don't concede.
God.
As,
I mean, that thing was on the goal line.
It sure was. It's whipped in again. The attack isn't over. McMillan has it. He gets it back to Ray. Ray, a left-footed switch pass. Almost cut out by Atienza. Just a tough ball to read. It's whipped in again. Begard kind of thrusts it away, if you will. And finally, the Gamecocks clear, and the stadium can breathe. As Delagracia is up, he gets to the ball. Conlon's off his line. It's Delagracia trying to enter the box. He's getting dragged down. And finally, it's either going to be a throw-in or a foul call, as that one, they're going to stop play, as Delagracia was being pulled down there, JP, for some time.
I think they're reviewing to see if the ball crossed the goal line. We have a stoppage of play for an official review. I don't know what else they could be reviewing. It looked very close, Spencer. I'm not sure. I don't know if we'll get a replay up here on the Bowling Family scoreboard, but, I mean, it would have to be inconclusive. And honestly, there were so many people. I'm interested to see what kind of camera angle they would have there.
And you got to remember, the ball has to completely cross the goal line. It can't just be on the goal line. It was impossible to see from up here, I can tell you that. We would have known if it had gotten through. You know, we can see the net, but we sure didn't have a good look at the line. And Tony Annan is really upset with Vistier. Look, you know, he's holding his arms out, telling him, you know, he's really upset that maybe the keeper didn't show a little more aggression there.
Yeah, he was very passive. And, you know, while he made 2 saves, it maybe didn't need to be. They're still conferring with the officials. But, yeah, you know, it was the initial save, and then in the massive bodies, you could see it literally bouncing up and down. I know I saw it touch the goal line. I couldn't tell you anything after that.
I couldn't either. Again, we're stopped at 1:37, so
even if it did cross fully, what a play by the Gamecocks to kind of get that ball out of there. Even after all that, James Madison still had multiple chances, and South Carolina snuffed it out and really reversed the field and then set up a nice chance for Delagracia.
That's true. The ball is still going to be South Carolina's, again, in an offensive position.
But this would be a brutal blow.
It would, and, you know, it would feel a little soft. We're about to get the call.
No goal.
No goal. And, you know, a sigh of relief for this Gamecock bench is, again, Tony Annan really upset with Philip Vistier, but it's a teaching lesson. Kid's still a freshman.
You know, it's coaching.
But also
Vistier hyping up his team coming out of that, you know, really kind of telling these guys, like, hey, let's go, let's roll.
Because we're 1-0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's keep building.
You know, because what a heartbreak this would be for James Madison. You know, you're inches away from the equalizer. You have the review to see. You don't get it, and now if South Carolina can find the back of the net with 1:37 to go.
It's a soul-crushing moment right there.
I mean, yeah, why would you even bother coming out for the second half?
Hey, I'm sure South Carolina wouldn't mind. You take a win against a really good Dukes team, but, of course, it won't be that easy. And even if South Carolina scores a second, I'm sure the Dukes won't give up. But it's a great position here for South Carolina. You know, it's a free kick, almost equivalent with the 18-yard box. And they're going to not move their big, tall defenseman forward. They're still going to kind of hold the back line. Begard takes it. He'll just play it short to Ballack. It's a bad touch, but somebody takes a spill, and South Carolina retains possession as Ballack almost just gave it away for free, but instead Revenlow does that.
I mean, that was just off the foot.
But a great tackle from Ballack. He wins it back. Cargill has it, sends it back to Nielsen at the 1:15 mark. And again, for South Carolina, you'd love to maybe get an extra chance, but what you'd really love is to not concede. That's all you want is Goldsworthy goes down and he was fouled. Couldn't see if he was, brought down or just took a spill. We've seen a lot of slips so far tonight.
We have. Maybe, the grass was kind of wet when we were down there. We'll see.
It was.
I think that foul call was on Jordan McMillan.
Yeah.
The redshirt senior who just got subbed on recently.
You're right. And at the 45-second mark, Vistier doing a good job of stalling, because for South Carolina, you'd love to build the last chance of the half. So they work it forward. Balk's going to get to it on the end of a JMU header. He's trapped by 3 guys. Does a good job playing it off Blanton. He'll work forward. Sticks with it. Taken down, but they'll say JMU Duke got the ball first. Under 30 now in the first half. Blanton has it. Velasquez Lopez playing him physically. And they play forward. Great slide tackle. Balak plays it back. This is great play. South Carolina moves it forward. What a clearance there from Ian Graham. As if that ball gets through, it's a nightmare. Now JMU plays it forward. It's McMillan. What a slide tackle from Camden Kowalski. And with 5 seconds and ticking, they'll play it as McMillan takes down Kowalski. We might see a card here.
And it overcomes William Nielsen in the Gamecocks.
It's going to be a yellow card on Jordan McMillan.
I mean, I was just completely unnecessary. It was, the half was about to end. He's cleared the ball and just took him out.
And William Nielsen is still screaming. He, didn't get a card himself, but his teammates having to, hold him back, make sure he doesn't get involved. As there's still a lot of pushing and shoving, is still McMillan.
Who else but I think it's Sebastian Revenlow up there.
Revenlow and Nielsen. JP, they might both have do they both have a red card on the season? That's always
I know Revenlow does because he broke that guy's leg.
He did break somebody's leg. Nielsen doesn't have a red. I knew he had one last year. 2 guys, really the heart and soul of this team. And, JP, I'm going to say it. They didn't get carded. Love the intensity. You got to bring it.
You got to stick up for your guy. And
that's right.
It was a great half.
It was a great half. But just touching on that last moment, Kowalski gets dragged down at the end by McMillan, who's, I don't know exactly what he wanted, but he didn't come out on the winning end, and neither did James Madison. South Carolina leads 1-0, 1-0. That one stinks going into the half. I keep saying nothing instead of nil. 1-0 after the first half. Again, you're absolutely right. South Carolina can't complain about it. They've been playing really, really good soccer. And in just about 14 minutes, you'll hear from me and JP again. We'll have all the second half action right here on Student Gamecock Television. Again, thanks for sticking with us. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Right here at Stone Stadium, the Gamecocks lead 1-0. It was a goal from Ethan Ballack in the 20th minute, assisted by Alejandro Velasquez-Lopez, that sees the home team have the advantage. JP, what'd you like from the Gamecocks in that first half?
Well, I liked
And you could say most things.
I was going to say, I liked mostly everything from the Gamecocks in that first half. I mean, they were very on point with their passing. The big thing that I think they could improve upon, just controlling more possession, maybe in the attacking zone. You know, for the Gamecocks, 74% of their possession was kind of spent like around the midfield stripe. So maybe if they can be a little bit more assertive there, but of course you don't want to overextend yourself and give James Madison the opportunity for that, that comeback equalizer. So now the Gamecocks will be moving left to right, James Madison right to left. Sandstorm, of course, playing us into the second half of action. And Spencer, for James Madison, what do you think is the key here to finding that equalizer so that they can continue to be the lords of ties?
Well, I'll tell you about the scariest moment of the match, and that was the second James Madison corner kick.
Oh, my
And
God, yeah.
if they're able to get a third, you got to feel like something might fall. Again, they had to go to VAR review to see if the ball did, in fact, cross the goal line. If you get corner kicks against this South Carolina team, chances are good things will happen for you. So I think, just playing more attacking soccer, getting the ball forward, and even if you aren't able to strike, just earn more opportunities, more corners, and just apply more pressure. For South Carolina, though, JP, I think you're right. If they could slow things down in the offensive end, if they don't have numbers, I think that'd be good. But again, they're doing a really good job. When James Madison gets, they lose the ball going forward, South Carolina has been really excellent at playing long outlet passes.
Absolutely. I'm interested to see if James Madison, kind of differs from their attacking approach we saw in the first half, where when they get possession of the ball, they work it back towards their own goal and then try to work across the field, because that's truly not, a very sustainable method of, generating chances.
Yeah, and again, I think a lot of the times they do that is they look for a bit of a kickoff play here as South Carolina handles it well enough as they do finally get possession. It looked a little sketchy for a second there, but Velasquez-Lopez does a great job just slicing through defenders, and it gets left for Ballack. He's got Myring ahead of him. Velasquez-Lopez back to the left. Couldn't quite put enough on the pass. Revenlow chips it over. He's got Bagar. And this is what I'm talking about, JP, the attacking third. Now it's South Carolina maybe looking to whip one ahead and go up 2 goals. Cargill with it. He's got Velasquez-Lopez there.
But
back to Cargill.
The thing about Cargill is what a great play that might go unnoticed there is, he was receiving that pass.
He whips one in. Pretty easy for Conlon to deal with, but it had a lot of pace on it. Keep going, JP.
Yeah, and, he was receiving that pass, and he did a quick little look back just to see which shoulder the James Madison defender was attacking so that he could position himself to receive the pass and then either pass it out or move with the ball.
Yes. I think you're right. I think Cargill's had an underrated game. Again, he's been really good when he has the ball. A lot of really good passes from him. As James Madison's going to pass it around back as the unending train horn.
Yeah, what is
just
the
fills the air.
What does the train think of the Ted Cargill masterclass?
I think the train loves it.
Or a fire engine or an ambulance. Who knows what happens here on Whaley Street?
We've heard all 3 at halftime, but we're back here in just a couple minutes in. JP's standing on my headset cord, and
I didn't mean to.
I know it's okay. I was just.
But getting back.
I like to fidget with it.
No, that's true. I also do this. Wow.
James Madison wins a throw, and I think South Carolina just played it out of bounds.
They did do that.
But they're gonna. South Carolina again. They're gonna try and apply pressure. James Madison looking to do the same, but move forward. South Carolina's probably going to be a little counterattack heavy. As again, you can win the game 1-0. But a 2-0 lead would give you a lot of comfort against this Duke squad.
Absolutely. And, James Madison, they're creeping up. But I like what South Carolina is doing. They're playing a little bit of a pyramid defensive formation almost.
And they've got like a roaming squad between their midfielders and the attacking who they triangle around the ball and really make it difficult for James Madison to find successful passes without just kicking it forward. And then you trust the back line to go win a header.
Absolutely.
JMU does have a throw-in now near the corner flag. I mean, you mentioned the C word, and it just
Chills run down the spine.
That's right. It's a terror, but luckily unless they've got a good arm, this one gets pretty decently in the box. South Carolina deals with it, but it falls for JMU. Shot fired left of goal, nothing doing there on the shot from Manuel Lolas.
And good looks there by the stadium personnel retrieving that one from the bushes in a timely manner to get to Vistier.
Yeah, those guys in the lime green shirts, they go underrated. Saw a real nice one in the parking lot tonight. I mean, wished us a good game. How about it?
Yeah, I mean, it goes a long way.
Sure does. Vistier goal kick incoming as we're still in the first 5 minutes of the second half here as he launches it down. Harrison Myring looks like he was going to go up for it, but it found nobody. James Madison controls it, and Blanton looking to move forward up this left wing. It's really hard to see, the left wing in the first half. Great tackle from Atienza, and now he's moving forward. Good play as he slows it down. Just completely fooled Lolas. Ballack with it. To his left is Velasquez Lopez. He's got it with some space. Cuts right. He fires with the right. Conlon diving save, knocks it out for a Gamecocks corner kick. But that's nice, a really nice move.
Yeah, not exactly a high danger chance, but a nice attempt on net, forcing Conlon to get kind of uncomfortable making that diving play. Not an easy one. The ball was bouncing like that. Just a tough move, but, it continues. South Carolina is pressing the advantage, I think.
It is, and when they are able to get in space, Velasquez Lopez has done a great job of finding those empty pockets. Bagar's going to step up, the left-footed kicker. Whips it in, near post, it's shot on, it scores! It was flicked on greatly by Velasquez Lopez, who picks up his second assist of the game, but William Nielsen just drilled it home with the right foot in the top of the net, and nothing Conlon could do.
Just what a great ball placement there, off the kick, and then, the hand-foot coordination to get that follow-up and, just placing it where nobody could get to it. I feel bad for Conlon. There's really nothing he could do there. He just couldn't see the ball on the follow-up attempt.
And I tell you what, that looks like a page right out of Kentucky's book.
We saw that. South Carolina has given that a couple times, so it's nice to see them receive it as well.
That's right, in the 50th minute, so the two goals have come 30 minutes apart, but Velasquez Lopez has a huge hand in both of them as he's got 2 assists on the night. It was a great flick towards goal, took a deflection, and Nielsen, a great swinging kind of, half volley there, just sent it right into the top of the net. Sorry for the mic explosion that happened.
These are very sensitive. I don't know what it's not. Hey, our good man Doug Andreuzzi does his best.
I promise it's not the tech setup. It might just be
the microphone.
It's just what we got. You know what? I think this has gone through legions of voices like the legendary Brett Williams.
Oh.
The Kate Crenshaw's right down the hall. I mean, hollowed ground here at SGTV as the Gamecocks lead 2-0. They keep going here as Myring flicks it onto Ballack just outside the box. Myring fires on goal just wide as, JP, South Carolina is looking real good right now.
Yeah, they are really pressing the advantage and just, getting these nice attempts that are setting up. Look how aggressive their defensive structure is. They're not playing like a team that just scored another goal to go up 2-0. They're just continuing, and maybe that's what you like to see because South Carolina has blown leads like this, and maybe playing passively and just being okay with a lead isn't the way to go. And for James Madison, Spencer, panic might be starting to set in a little bit.
As Bagar, a physical challenge with Nikolai, they will call a foul on Nikolai as Bagar went down, and I think you're 100% right that South Carolina is doing the smart thing by still having some aggression. If you just completely dial it down, you're just inviting chances from James Madison. We've seen a couple of them maybe not go their way, as they've had some shots on goal that, especially that corner kick that could have found their way in the back of the net. For South Carolina, luckily they didn't. So, they still have the 2-0 lead, but I think keeping up some form of aggression is really smart because you're making James Madison still play the game. You're not just allowing them to get 40 free yards and just whip in crosses endlessly.
Yeah.
Not saying South Carolina's done that, really. I think for the most part they really, retain their style of play, and it fits them. It's a great interception from Velasquez Lopez. Frees up Revenlow for a big run. He's got space, plays it forward to Velasquez Lopez. He's in the 18. He's going to play it, just dribble it in, makes a nice cutback, whips it in, tries to look back post for Ballack. Conlon with a great jumping play to intercept that, and a diving goal kick to try and get it forward to McMillan. Not enough on it, though, and Vistier calmly plays it out. Another great chance for South Carolina.
Yeah, Spencer, and Conlon
Yeah,
there
JP.
making.
You blew the mic up there.
I'm sorry. I was about to cough. I'm not sick, ladies and gentlemen. I just, for some reason, I have a cough that hasn't left me yet. Conlon, calm,
Repeat,
collected.
not sick.
Conlon making a calm and collected save, and really kind of, I think, settling down his teammates, because this has been a tough start to the second half after a tough end.
Great move there from Lolas, though. He looks for the ball back, but it was a bad pass. Still going to be a throw in JMU, but got to think they're looking for a spark play here, as really they haven't seen a chance in some time.
Yeah, they just keep hammering their head into a brick wall and hoping something,
Praying for a corner kick, I think.
Yeah, they need to do something different, and maybe they're doing it right now.
Yeah, maybe, but, it looks like Blanton was going to whip one in. He doesn't. Instead, it's going to be Lolas. He finds someone near post. Vistier, heck of a diving save. I think it was wide of goal, but he does a good job preventing a corner there as it took a deflection off a defender.
Absolutely. And for Vistier, even though I don't think that'll register as a save, he's really kind of finding himself, and I think he gets better as games go on. In plays like that, where he's just kind of getting himself into a rhythm and collecting the ball, I think it goes a long way for his confidence.
I think you're right, as Nikolai just sprints forward, fires one off the head of Nielsen, gets it back, and still goes. Slide tackle, takes down.
They're giving a corner kick, I think, to James Madison, Spencer.
Really surprised there. That one was hard for us to see, but it looked like Nikolai, I guess he must have gotten the ball there. Looked maybe a little dangerous from up here. But it's a JMU corner. Again, JP, Revenlow barking orders at this near post. We'll see if Vistier's, Annan's advice to Vistier come to fruition. It's whipped in by the left footer. Gets to the back post. Great header from Camden Kowalski. Lolas with it outside the box. He runs, tries to whip it across to the back post. Unable to. Sent in the box again. Headed away. Goldsworthy Myring gets it out momentarily. It's brought back in. Another cross. Another clear. Nikolai with it outside the box. Gets it to that right foot, fires. And it goes in the back of the net. It took a deflection and bounced in.
I think Vistier,
and there's a punch is being thrown here. And that'll most certainly, there's no way that's not a red card as he throws the ball.
He punched him in the face. What are we doing here?
P2 just absolutely lost it. Just assaulted someone in the box, and that's not a red card, JP. They're not throwing him out of the game, or at least not right now.
They have to review that. That's
there
obscene.
Is no way you can get away with he just beat him over the head.
They need to look at this.
Yeah, they are going to look at
it. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, an absolute murder, a lack of class, and, I mean, he's got to be sent off for that. I mean, a Gamecock player is still down in the box after being hit repeatedly in the head. What is going on? And we'll get you I believe it's Gabe Atienza.
Atienza went to collect the ball, and P2 just lost his friggin' mind.
I mean, there's no way. He's still jawing to his entire team as they're just trying to keep him away. He's already done enough damage. JMU draw one back, JP. And if there's any justice left in the world, they're going down to 10 men.
That was maybe a horrific misplay by Vistier. I don't think he expected it to really kind of die.
I think it's tough because, you come up to play the ball and then it deflects and gets chipped over his head.
Yeah,
so
he got caught leaning a little too forward. He couldn't get back in time, but I think he was kind of expecting it to hit the crossbar, and it just kind of listed over, underneath and into the back. We need to see a replay of that because that was just absurd.
I mean, Atienza's finally up, but I mean, there is absolutely no way on the planet. As JMU seems to be falling apart at the seams, even though they've just scored. I mean, in the 60th minute, I believe, I don't know if you call that an own goal. I think we're going to find out. But JP, I can't believe what we've just seen. P2's going to at least come to the bench. His coach might ought to just knock him in the face. Atienza was just
I mean, he's
holding the ball.
He needs to be
you know,
arrested.
Yeah, well, so, JP, it's very common in soccer. Yeah, you hold the ball so you don't, you kill a couple more seconds. JMU looking to just play it immediately.
Well, I think the officials are decreeing things to each coach.
We're about to see.
They're letting him stay in the game, Spencer. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. This is truly the most obscene thing I've ever
Nikolai's
seen.
waving on the crowd. JP, if
What
South
is wrong with this
if
team?
South Carolina pulls through with the win, they ought to storm the field. Because, I mean, this is absurd. He beat him over the head just to get the ball for a couple measly seconds. And I can't believe my eyes.
I'm so confused.
He did get a yellow card. And the official call is no caution given. I think he still gets the yellow because that's what he got originally. Maybe he took the card back.
What in God's name is happening right now?
I don't think a godly action just occurred. As James Madison has it, and we're unsure. We continue play at the 35-minute mark. There's a goal in the 60th for James Madison. Believe it's going to count as a Nikolai goal, even though it took a deflection, because I'm not sure it was don't know if that'll count for an own goal. Not quite sure right now, but every time P2 is going to touch the ball, I mean, you will hear the fans as, again, I think everybody in the press box is in a bit of disbelief as he's somehow not thrown out of the game. Blanton will pass it back to Graham.
Something should happen. That's all I'll
Okay,
say.
so number 4 has been shown a yellow card. As he touches the ball now, you'll hear the boos. And again, JP, I can't believe it's not a red card. There's no room for that on the field ever. It wasn't like it was a shove. Nothing even remotely close
to a
soccer
play.
After the play, and you beat a player over the head.
And you get away with it.
Yeah, and that's only good enough for a yellow card. Surprised
the refs need to be the refs. They've let this go on like all night with some touchy plays that they haven't whistled fouls or stuff like that, and you allow stuff like that to fester. They need to buckle up and realize what their job is and get this game under control.
Well, and JP, you can talk about all the soccer refereeing you want. That was not a soccer play
it was
by
not,
any means, and it addresses player safety. I think that
you open the door to retaliation.
Yeah, you sure do. P2's certainly got, hopefully Tony Annan has calmed his team down, because if not, he's got a big red target on his head, and his silly little headband might be gearing up for a boot. JMU launches the ball into the box, and again, they're going to keep pressing on the gas as South Carolina seems unsure of how to respond. Ethan Ballack wins a nice tackle. Harrison Meyring's offside by a country mile. As Conlon comes out to play it, and they'll whistle the offsides penalty. We're at the 33-minute mark just about, ticking down. It's James Madison passing it around the back, but, it's only a one-goal game now, so they're right back in it, JP. Huge slide tackle from Ted Cargill. And they'll call a foul on that, and,
I just need to see something happen at this point.
Yeah, I can't believe they call a foul on that where he gets the ball and a player goes into the bench, but, we're up in arms about that, but not throwing punches. So they're going to take the free kick early as Blanton's still down, of course, hoping he's okay, but, I don't know. Yeah. It's a first for us up here in the booth, I'm sure. The first time we've seen a fight, I think, on the call was last week's youth hockey game. We weren't on the call for that, but the goalie started swinging their stick around at players. They were allowed to remain in the game, but those kids are 10. There's a bit of a difference here, but
also I feel like their sticks aren't
made with the same
nope,
thing.
Nope, they're plastic. Good clear there from William Nielsen. As Southern had a lot of space. We'll get back to the game. We're just,
P2, he's kind of lucking out by the fact that he's hanging around on the back line. Because if he was up there, kind of in the trenches.
Oh, Goldsworthy might have a little gift for him.
Andrew Goldsworthy masterclass incoming.
It's just
the most legal slide tackle you've ever seen.
Oh, they call those Brexit tackles, the shades of the old Barclays. As Vistier plays it out to the defense. James Madison really ramping up the pressure. Again, it's a 2-1 South Carolina lead. James Madison is really trying to equalize here. They've got a lot of guys forward and just cranking up this pressure. South Carolina looking to keep their lead. This one shot on goal, diving save from Vistiers. That one had a whole lot of nastiness on it. Really nice attempt from Lolas.
Yeah, and guess what? I think it will be a throw-in or a corner kick.
It is going to be a throw-in.
Okay, South Carolina escapes.
Yeah, you know, and the throw-in did not provide a little danger, but they have an arm that can get it pretty close. It's thrown into the box. It's headed on again. Wide of goal. South Carolina dodges another bullet. They'll let it go out of bounds for a goal kick. Almost 1/3 of the way through the second half here. So we are under 31 minutes. It's a 2-1 South Carolina lead. As
some breaking news, NC State quarterback Grayson McCall retiring from football.
You know,
isn't that odd?
Well,
plus, he had that nasty hit against Wake Forest.
Yeah, I mean that would probably do it for
just about anybody.
Yeah, that was pretty horrific to watch. The goal kick is, bounced around a bit, but finally controlled by South Carolina. Kowalski looks to play it forward. You know, a guy we haven't talked about a ton, Ian Graham at the back line for JMU has really been solid tonight. He's been kind of responsible for keeping Myron at bay. As Conlon comes out and, can't use his hands from that far. Does a really good job of chesting that ball down. JMU with it is both teams just kind of giving possession back and forth.
You know, Spencer, I did just realize we could look at the ESPN Plus stream and go back.
This is very true.
See if we can get a replay of the incident. I might do that because I'm interested in this.
That's right. Evan Southern enters the box for JMU. It's crossed in, deflected out. Did the ball already go out of play? They are going to call a corner kick. It was close to going out there. Southern with a good play to just keep that on. As it looks like it's going to be Larson taking the corner for James Madison. Again, this is a huge moment for South Carolina as they crowd. JMU does slightly crowd the net, not as much as Kentucky did, and we'll see what they do. This one's whipped in. Great header there. This one, sends it about 30 yards out. JMU still with it. They'll whip in a much weaker cross. Vistier comes out to claim. And if you've watched this team all year, you know how huge of a play that is.
Yeah.
As JP is going to bring up this video review, we might go round two for the play-by-play of, fight night here at Stone Stadium. 2-1 against South Carolina leads. We're under 29 minutes to go. The Gamecocks are going to pass it around back, and we knew how the game was going. Then the James Madison goal happened, and it feels like we started from 0, but with the tension levels are at 10. A really intense game incoming. James Madison has it. It's wisely cleared away. Myring in pursuit on Graham. Myring wins it. Oh, it just bounced down off his foot. Otherwise, he would have been off to the races. Graham throws it into Blanton. It's launched forward. Atienza still in the game after, being assaulted. Gets it forward to Velasquez Lopez. Ballack with it. Looks for somebody to cut in. Instead, he'll just play it softly to William Nielsen, and now it looks to be the Gamecocks looking to set up shop a bit. Bigar with it. Down to Ballack. Ballack gets it to that left foot. Scored him a lot of goals this year. One tonight. Velasquez Lopez with it. Atienza now on the right wing. He's got an overlapping Kowalski behind him. Atienza, good cross. Graham deals. It's headed back by McMillan, who picked up a yellow card at the end of the first. And that's really where it all started. It's been a physical game, but that's where
we're seeing the true colors of the James Madison.
Oh, we are. So Myring has it now on the right wing. He's got Velasquez Lopez behind him. Atienza with it. Myring with it now. He'll look to whip it in. It's blocked there by Chase Shrine. Going to be a throw-in, Gamecocks. JP, again, we're gonna stick with the play here, but when we get some downtime, we're gonna address the incident.
Well, we'll see if they even have an angle of it. Because look,
Atienza
tries to play the ball,
and then it's after the goal, so
marbles,
and that's very common. You try and stall time, and we'll get an angle here in a sec. James Madison does a good job of winning the ball back, but it just gets cleared to big Andrew Goldsworthy. He plays it to his left. That's Nielsen, a goal scorer tonight. Doesn't often score, as that's his second goal of the year. That came in the 50th minute to put the Gamecocks up 2-0. And it was the equalizer from Nikolai off the deflection in the 60th.
Here goes Atienza.
Plays it to Velasquez Lopez, plays it back. It's going to be a foul. Yeah, that's a foul on
all right.
Atienza.
So let's see what happens here. So Atienza goes to play. He doesn't see P2 there.
No,
He
not
plays
really.
The ball.
He just takes the ball from him again to kill a couple seconds.
Oh my God, the camera went away.
It did because there's a Gamecock, down. And again, as
Oh
you
my
hear
God.
the boos, P2 has it.
Sorry, I just saw the replay of what happened. Oh my God, why did he do that?
I don't know, but we'll have to see as JMU works it forward. Again, we're at under 26 now. It's 2-1, South Carolina lead. That's Nikolai with it, who's antagonizing the crowd. He'll shoot it in with his left foot. Nothing doing. Myring heads it down to Ballack. A little 1-2 here. Myring will just control the ball, and again, as long as he doesn't give it away, it'll be okay. South Carolina wins a throw-in off the deflection. And this has got to be one of the most interesting ones we've seen in some time. Ethan Ballack gets the ball, bicycle kick, kind of sends it forward. Myring maybe looked to be taken down by Graham. No calls. It wasn't too bad. P2 with it now at midfield.
I think him and Nikolai are a little too obsessed with the crowd not liking them.
I mean, they sure look like it. Atienza
Should have a
intercepted
game
the
to
ball.
play.
Bad touch. Again, 2-1. JMU has it at midfield, under 25 officially. Cargill gets it to Revan Lowe to Velasquez Lopez with a nice turn. Ethan Ballack has it now. He's got Myring up to his right, who just wants the ball, just didn't have enough on the pass there as JMU was hot in pursuit. Strine with it now. Over to P2 at the midfield line. He gets it forward to Nikolai. Bagar marks him. We've got a sub waiting here on the touchline. JP, tell us who that is.
Yeah, for the Gamecocks, that is number 21. As I'm thumbing through all my $1 million papers over here, Kieran Karp, we haven't seen much of. 2 points on the year with 2 assists. The Pennington, New Jersey native, the freshman midfielder. It's interesting to see South Carolina, a team that usually relies on its depth, but they haven't hit the bench very often. Of course, maybe a byproduct of those injuries we talked about.
Nikolai crosses it in. It got ahead to it, but at the edge of the box, not too much danger yet. South Carolina able to find it. It's Goldsworthy. Cut out by Nikolai. Nice spin move. Goldsworthy, ever the brick wall. And it ends with Nikolai on the ground, and that's riotous applause that ensues. Conlon almost caught that, and again, that would have been a card on him as he's about 30 yards out of the goal box. As this has just been pure chaos here in the last, the second half, really.
Do it, Harrison Myring.
It's a cross.
Dude, Harrison Myring is looking at P2 like Cam Chancellor looks at like a defenseless receiver on a post route.
And
he's waiting, I think.
He'd love for a header to come in between them.
Oh,
And,
my God.
And
Karp
we get to
will
call
come
the
on.
RKO the century. That's going to be Cargill replacing him.
Or vice versa.
Vice versa, excuse me.
Yeah.
Cargill headed to the bench. You're right.
But a good game for Cargill.
I think really good games. JP is.
I'm alive, guys.
Hopefully he's all right.
I'm
Thank
back. We're okay.
you. Hey, take a minute
Sorry.
for our injured player.
Yeah.
As again, Karp comes on. It's a throw-in for the Gamecocks. They did a really good job
Good.
denying the cross and deflecting it off of a Duke. This ball's just launched forward. It's P2. Myron gets his matchup. It's headed down. He gets it over to Blanton, and no head-to-head contact.
No.
JP was rooting on targeting to my right. So we're through the halfway point of the second half. Blanton sends it to his right to the JMU goalie. Conlon with it. He'll just kind of survey. The Gamecocks have been a little less aggressive in the second half.
Yeah, which is allowing Conlon to come out of his, his goal box. But what if South Carolina kind of got one of those rainbow?
It's launched into the box, an odd cross, and some of those are the dangerous ones. Vistier comes out, and he'll finally pick up the ball with McMillan in pursuit. JMU's going to have some subs. There's 2 guys we've seen, though. It's Yanis Lelon and Jeffrey Aguilar. They were 2 of the guys, the first 2 guys subbed off. Looks like they're going to be getting their second shift here tonight.
Yep, and that's what I think. That's James Madison maybe kind of signaling that this is do or die time. Of course, as they're looking for the equalizer for their 6th tie of the year. I feel like at a certain point, if your ties reach the amount of wins, you should be disqualified from all postseason play.
And of course, this is not official. That's just JP speak.
No,
because he believes in wins and losses. And you know what? I got to respect it. I think it'd be a lot of fun if, instead of, I understand maybe not playing extra time in the regular season.
Yeah.
Have a penalty shootout. You know what
it's
I mean?
fun.
That takes 10 minutes.
What happened to
It's super
fun?
It's super fun. Then you'd have no draws. But you know what? We're just
You
two
don't
guys who
have
probably,
drama,
Yeah,
which is what we want.
well, hey, there has been no shortage of drama in this one as we're almost at the 20-minute mark. Again, South Carolina leads 2-1. Looks like they are going to apply some more pressure this time around as Conlon has it. He'll get it down over to Leland, who
And
just misplays it. And that's big for South Carolina because you can just reposition and move forward.
Yeah, and something we've really kind of seen on that goal for James Madison is that when they have an opportunity, and the clock is stopping with 20 minutes and 31 seconds here.
He stopped it, I guess, because the ball rolled away too far. So, hey, the ref might have a purple shirt as Ballack gets in the box and disrupts a header.
We've seen some very odd refereeing in our time here.
I think odd is the perfect word for it because it's certainly one of a kind. Atienza does a great job cutting that one out, and it goes forward to Myring. He almost gets it to Ballack in the box, but it'll carry on towards
I mean, just the world's worst dive ever.
P2 goes down there,
If only this
and
was
they are
real.
going to stop the time, and this might be the only time.
No, the
you
clock's
hear
still
people-
running.
Oh, the clock. It's looked like he signaled for a stop as P2 is hurt and limping here as
Until he realizes his gambit has not paid off and he's completely fine.
you might be right, but it might be the only time you hear a crowd boo for an injury. As Leland takes it forward, JMU has it, just passing it about the midfield. They'll switch the ball over to P2, who looks completely fine, but he will misplay the ball there. Crowd favorite gets his hero's welcome. Conlon has it, plays it over to Graham.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, we've caught a case of the giggles, man. As Leland launches it forward, deep ball with Kowalski in pursuit, heads it out of play, and not sure if he knew it was to his right, but if he headed it more in play, it would have been just an easy clearance. Instead, Lolas is going to switch play, cut out by Velasquez Lopez. He's got Ballack. Plays it past Leland and moves forward. What a play from Ethan Ballack. He's then shoved out of bounds. And there's no call on that. I mean, Ethan Ballack would have been able to keep the ball in, and then he's shoved out of bounds. And there's no call. I mean, Coach Annan's getting shoved out of the player's box by Leland here. JP, what? I mean, there's an official standing there.
What is happening?
I'm wiping my eyes because I'm not sure if I'm seeing things correctly, but this is certainly the weirdest soccer game to have ever happened. And, a constant at Stone Stadium has been questionable refereeing. And we've seen more of that tonight than ever, but not in a soccer sense. In the physical altercation sense, as Atienza wins the ball back, looks for Myring deep, and the Gamecocks win a throw. And you got to love that the crowd is still into this game under 20 to go. And Jack Burgess is going to check into the game. We'll see who he replaces. Looks like it's going to be Atienza as he's maybe caught a cramp. It is. Atienza that, probably didn't think he would end up in a heavyweight bout tonight, but he comes off with what looks to be like a hamstring cramp and hopefully not a concussion.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a throw-in now, Kowalski. He's got it on the near side touchline. We're at 17:56 left to go in this one. Headed on by the new sub, Burgess. Gets it to Ballack. Tries to get it back, but JMU just closes the door. Aguilar with it now, showing off some speed. Place it back. JMU will slow things down as they get it back to Nikolai. He'll switch play, looking for Lolas. He gets it to his head. Good header there for the South Carolina. That was Karp. Lolas with it. He plays it back to Southern, who gets in the box now. Very dangerous. Cuts back. Great clearance there from Revenlow. And it gets through the legs of Leland, but Myring slips Falls all the way back to Graham at the back of this Duke's defense, and they'll work it forward. Lolas with it again. Now to Leland. Ball's whipped in. Dangerous, dangerous cross. Vistier catches it.
The hang time on that was impressive.
I mean, not sure which defender. It might have been old reliable Andrew Goldsworthy just skied it.
Yeah.
And luckily, the Duke fell to the ground, so Vistier had an easier play than if he didn't. And at the 16:45 and counting mark, South Carolina has a 2-1 lead. Myring flicks it on. It's to Graham. It falls all the way to Conlon, but there's been a little bit of unsteadiness at the back now. Velasquez Lopez with it. Some great skill to hold on to that. I mean, unbelievable stuff. He's just toying with the Duke's defenders. Gets it over to Jack Burgess, who will play it out smartly. You know, you want to kill some time if you're South Carolina and really just make sure you're holding on to the ball. Karp has it up to Ballack. Karp gets it back to Burgess, into Ballack. Great play here. Great slide tackle from Ian Graham, but an even better one from Harrison Myring. Velasquez Lopez with it. He'll fire on the goal. Saved by Conlon. Just not enough juice on it from Velasquez Lopez. But I think a good effort, JP.
Absolutely. And man, I mean, he's probably been the MVP so far, other than.
No, I think you're right. I mean, 2 assists, 2 shots on goal. But what a physical challenge there from Nikolai to win it back. I mean, as controversial as he's been, he is the goal scorer tonight for the Dukes. And he's been really good as Southern just works through a fleet of defenders.
Until
finally cut down by Revenlow. So we're almost at the 15-minute mark. JP, this has been nothing short of cinema here at Stone Stadium.
I mean, you'll pay for the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
Couldn't have said it better. Leland wins a header.
I maybe could have sounded a little more enthusiastic on that. That was, sorry.
Aguilar's into the box. He cuts right. What a challenge to just rob him of the ball, because that looked pretty dangerous as P2 has the ball.
I'm trying to be like
just a chance.
Brian Dawkins.
He's a different man when he takes the field. He's Weapon X. Leland has it. He's going to look for a throw-in. Looking to get it all the way down into an attacking position, and Kowalski just clears it. He had Goldsworthy to his right. It's the second time, but I understand, you definitely want to play it more safe than sorry. It's Leland with it. They've worked this near side a whole lot. Crossed in looking for Aguilar. Only finds Andrew Goldsworthy. Myring tries to put it back. Doesn't find it. JMU wins a throw-in. It's been all JMU since they scored that goal in the 60th minute. And really since that, the fight with P2 attacking Atienza, not to say they've had all the momentum, but just the style of game has shifted. And South Carolina has been on their heels, but they've been up to the task so far. They've got 14 minutes of it. This ball's crossed in. Headed away. So JMU player looked for a weird kind of scissor kick there, but it's going to go out for a throw-in after Burgess cleared. It's going to be Strine with it now on the near side. He gets it up to Leland. Plays it forward. It's a nice one, too. Lolas cuts back in. He plays it forward into the box, Leland, but Goldsworthy. I mean, he's been, the saving grace in the box really the whole game and the whole season, just steady as ever.
Absolutely.
Strine with it, and the Gamecocks thought that went out of play, but no dice as it goes all the way back to P2. Excuse me, that's Nikolai.
Yeah.
Don't know where P2's in the box. He's a defender. He's calling for the ball in that back post.
There is a sub about to come on for James Madison. The moment he puts on a shirt, I'll tell you who it is.
Vistier claims P2's running in back post, and if he scores a goal, I mean, God may cry.
Balint Kosko from Budapest, Hungary,
is about to enter the game, a senior forward.
interesting time for a substitution here for someone who does not have a recorded stat on the season.
But the coach knows better than us. Is James Madison, again, a very successful soccer team. South Carolina, though, does hold the advantage. With 12.5 minutes to play, they lead 2-1. James Madison looking to equalize. South Carolina looking to hold the score and leave Stone Stadium with a Sun Belt win. So they're playing it around back. Graham, dangerous touch. Leaves room for Myring, but it's smartly played by Milo Wren. He launches the ball downfield. It was a good clearance, though, as that could have proven pretty dangerous for South Carolina if that ball was taken by Myring. It's going to be a substitution here, so the clock will still run. So we're under 12. Coming off is Milo Wren, and it's, again, Koshko
Not to be
coming
confused
on.
with Kylo Ren.
I know, it's pronounced that way, so it's, a very, very interesting name here. Again, under 12, 2-1. Gamecocks lead. They've got a throw-in on the far side in their own defensive end. It's going to be played by Nikolai. But what a challenge to just dispossess him with style. Ballack has it in the midfield, shakes off 2, and he plays it forward. What a job to free up space, and the Gamecocks are running. Look for a ball in the box. Myring gets to the other end of it, gets it back to Kieran Karp. They'll play it back to Kowalski. South Carolina killing some time. Goldsworthy with it. He'll play it over to Kowalski again on this near side. Bad pass cut out by Lolas. Someone's taken down. Great call.
Aguilar.
And an excellent break for South Carolina. That would have been trouble. But, I mean, Aguilar just clipped the heels of, I believe, Jack Burgess.
Yeah, behind the play. Like, it's just, it's a tough call because, it wasn't anything extraordinary, but, I mean, it's still a penalty.
Hey, I tell you what.
It's a tough
Paul
one to take.
Szynski, the head coach of the Dukes, hates it. South Carolina fans took a sigh of relief as if James Madison had been able to continue that attack, JP. That was a golden opportunity.
10th foul of the game on James Madison.
Kowalski has it. He's looking for Bagar, who's kind of almost hiding out of the play over there. A clever chance, but it is just headed on towards Conlon. He's been pretty sure-handed in net, I'd say, JP. Again, the 2 goals, I think, have been really difficult to defend against. But when he's been called, he's been good. But for South Carolina, got to look to apply some pressure, if anything, just to take some time off the clock. As Lolas has it. Burgess, good tackle. It's going to be JMU ball, and Lolas grabbing that ankle. But all of a sudden, he sees that the hand's pointed left, and he's magically cured. Lolas gets up. We are under 10 minutes to go here in the second half in what's been just the most interesting game of soccer. And there's only been 3 goals, but we've seen a lot more than just soccer. Nielsen cuts out a pass. He's taken down. Smart foul from James Madison, but it was called. And for South Carolina, you'll never be mad when a James Madison foul is called because you can just walk as slow as you can.
Yeah, this is the fun part where they
ball down.
I mean,
last time Gamecocks tried to time waste, it did.
Oh my God, there was violence.
An attempted murder on the
P2
field.
smash.
And we'll see if that happens again. So again, Carolina 2, JMU 1. Referee did stop play.
At least you don't have to worry about saying nil
9:17.
anymore.
There you go. It's headed away. That's true. I was messing that up. Bagar wins it back. Myring outside the box. He'll charge up and fire a rifle off the leg of Ian Graham. Kieran Karp with a great challenge to try and keep it forward. It's going to be a foul. It's going to be a yellow card on Harrison Myring there. And if you look at the degrees of yellow cards that have been called tonight, there was one called on James Madison at the end of the first half for shoving. There was
murder.
There was one. No, that was the one in the 60th minute in the second half. Don't worry, I was getting to both, acts of violence. But I guess that challenge was just a bit too much. Under 9 minutes now left. James Madison keeps moving forward. P2 plays a switch ball. Lands in the midfield, then played all the way over to Leland. It's played back now to Strine. Back to Graham, who's kind of the lone central defender now, as everyone for James Madison really getting forward. They've got 8.5 to equalize here as Burgess stumbles, but a good interception there will halt the attack. Ballack in pursuit. Myring chases Graham, and it's now played to P2 at the midway line. Velasquez Lopez comes forward. P2 still running with it. He'll get it all the way over to Larson. Larson with Leland to his left. Great slide tackle, and the Gamecocks keep it in play. Cleared away from Kieran Karp. Myring in pursuit. They kick it back all the way to Conlon. The goalie is almost at midfield, and that just tells you how far up James Madison's playing.
I mean, the desperation is visible.
It is, and it makes a lot of sense. You know, Leland has the ball now on the left wing after a huge pass played. Ball by Strine. Now back to Larson. Larson sends it into the box. It's headed away by Goldsworthy. Touchdown by Southern. Bagar with a great risky tackle, but it pays off.
I think P2's bleeding.
He gets it forward. Huge slide tackle, collision. It was all ball, though. James Madison with it as they'll move forward. Southern plays the ball up. Looks like Nikolai's going to whip it in. Karp on the other end of it, outside the box. It's cut out by Southern. He's got it on this right side of the 18. He'll switch it back to the middle, but it's cut out by Ballack to Velasquez-Lopez. Back to Ballack in South Carolina. Will win a throw-in. What a job there from the Gamecocks to slow it down, really just take their time. And South Carolina's going to have a substitution. It's Sonny Quintanilla coming in, number 17.
We'll see who he's replacing. I think it might be Alejandro Velasquez-Lopez. But for South Carolina, I mean, hey, when the going got tough and you were going up for a header and it was against P2, they clobbered him because they got the ball out of there. He was touching his lip, looking at something afterwards. So, justice prevails maybe. But
well, not technically. He should not have been able to be in this game. And, we'll stand by that till the death.
But a standing ovation for Alejandro Velasquez-Lopez.
Who was nothing short of amazing for this team. He's been the best player in space. He has 2 assists on the night, but some fresh legs. And again, the Gamecocks are going to need him to try and kill off what is now 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Leland with it now. He's going to launch it forward. Headed away by Kowalski. Burgess in pursuit. He's been good in his limited time. Aguilar with it, back to Strine. They get it to P2 now. Bagar in pursuit. It's over to Nikolai on that right wing. He cuts in. Looks for a pass, now gets it to Leland. They close out on him. Pass over towards this left wing. It falls back to Nikolai. It's about 30 yards out, just dead center on goal. Gets it now to Larson. It's a 1-2 ball. Shot fired way off into the trees.
That looked like an Alex Herrera field goal attempt.
No, that's a soft spot. Now, that one hurts for any of the Gamecock fans out there. But under 6 minutes to go, Gamecock fans can at least be a little happy about this one. They're up 2-1. Just got to chew a little bit more clock and try and fight off this James Madison attack that has been, it's been impressive, the way they've been able to dominate possession. Just haven't found the back of the net, and I think you got to credit the Gamecock defense for just being really good. But their job's not finished. Myring raises up for a big header. Graham with it now in defense. Now under 5.5, just like that, 30 seconds gone. Leland, forward to Aguilar. Burgess racing back, great slide tackle. Gets it back out to Leland, about 30 yards from goal. They'll chip it forward as someone runs into the box for the Dukes. They leave it for Aguilar. Now Leland, he'll look to whip in across. Goldsworthy gets low, deals with it. Took an awkward angle as it falls.
He was almost like lateral.
Yeah, he did get really low, just bounced off the side of his head there. Lolas with it now. He'll whip it in with the right foot. Headed away again. Falls to Strine. Bagar with the challenge. Goes all the way out to Southern. He fakes the cross. Good clearance there. Just excellent play, and the Gamecocks look to run out ahead. And the ball's played forward to Myring. Conlin's off his line, and Myring's onside. It's him. Graham, he's got Ballack streaking into the middle. Deeks right. He's got it. Shot on goal just right as Myring did everything right but the finish. He freed up space. The beautiful move to freeze Graham. Shot just a little wide in net. We're under 4.5 to go.
We got 2 subs coming on for Carolina. It's someone we've already seen in Valentino Della Grazia.
I think it's Shahia. They're going to hold him, actually, to do 2 subs and kill more time. It's classic from Tony Annan as we are at the 4-minute mark. Strine has it, gets it up to Nikolai on the right wing. Got to think JMU's going to whip in crosses. They sure do. It's overhit and out of play, looking for Lolos at the back post. We've got 1 sub. It's Myring coming out, and he'll come out to a big applause. Again, it's Della Grazia going in now.
For Myring, I believe.
Yep, absolutely. And again, I think
Well,
Shia puts the jersey back on, but we might see him in this game again.
He's a great defender.
Yeah, they do stop time for substitutions, but you can buys your team a little bit of rest as well. So we'll see how Coach Annan plays it. 3:50 is where the clock is stopped. South Carolina, a 2-1 lead. This would be a massive win for the Gamecocks. They launch it forward. Delagracia gets ahead to it. Headed back to Graham, all the way into Conlon, who will have to use his hands to catch it in the goalie box, is Ballack, hot on his heels. He drops it and plays it to Graham. Graham sends it over to P2. Bigard looks for the interception, but P2 just let it lie. 3.5 now, and Nikolai with it. He's going to play a big switch ball all the way over, just out ahead of Lolas. We're at 3:20. Every 30 seconds, JP, I mean, do you hear this crowd get into it? And Gia will take off the penny jersey. We're going to see more subs here, and wisely so. And also, JP, if you're killing off the clock, you want fresh legs. Shahia, also a tall body.
Yep.
If we see a corner kick, he could be a guy that could actually step up to defend it because of his height. The clock's still rolling. Killed off 30 seconds just off on a goal kick. That was 2:55. Strine heads it out of play. This one should go to the Gamecocks. It does. It's a throw-in, and the clock stops at 2:47. We've got another substitution.
Yeah, this one will be Yashia for Camden Kowalski.
That's absolutely right.
Ethan Ballack also leaving for, I believe, number 17 for the Gamecocks.
No, he already came on. It was Ballack leaving, I see now.
No,
Kowalski was coming.
For the, yep.
Took us a second, but we weren't. Hey, sometimes that's all we need. Throw into Shia. Heads it to Delagracia. See, there's that big physical body you can get up for. P2 controls it, but he's kind of surrounded. Gets it back to Graham.
Punish.
Nikolai with it on the far side. He's going to play it forward. The Gamecocks likely going to have to defend across. Great job there from Kieran Karp. Just went out of play. Throw in JMU.
I'm not sure if I buy that.
It looked like it did from here. It was close. And the officials right there.
Well, the officials were right there when P2 clubbed a guy.
They actually went to review it. It's going to be a corner kick for James Madison. Oh, under 2 minutes. James Madison corner. They're looking to equalize. They've got everybody forward. Conlon's ahead of the midfield line. They play it short. It's going to be whipped in, but what a play from Quintanilla to block it, and now it's going to have to be a throw-in.
Chills.
They throw it back to Conlon. We've got an empty net practically as Conlon's all the way past midfield. Ball whipped in. Headed the way, Shia looking to block the pass from Aguilar. They get it down. It's Lolas with it now on the near side. He makes a good move. He's going to have something. Good tackle for South Carolina, and they'll just launch it forward. What a play from Chase trying to intercept that ball. Otherwise, it was Shahia and Conlon who was 50 yards out of goal. Delagracia has it. His body's just hit the floor this game like no other. Conlon's going to have to come out. Bigard wins the header. Bigard wins the header, and there's an open net. And the Gamecocks add a goal to their tally, and they will.
Now, hey, everybody be careful. Watch the backs of your heads. P2's on the prowl.
And, again, they're pleading to the officials.
For what?
I think they're pleading
being bad?
for a shot to the head there from Delagracia on a header. They're up in arms. I think they'll just have to watch the tape on ESPN Plus to see what we saw earlier. The Gamecocks take a 2-goal lead, and the bench mobs them. The crowd's on their feet. And Vistier came all the way out of goal. He came about 100 yards to come celebrate. And it's going to be Jonah Bigard's first goal of the season. He had one in the Jacksonville game that hasn't officially gone through. But what a moment. Goldsworthy goes to the ground and just beats the grass. He's played his heart out back there. South Carolina regains their 2-goal lead, and this one's got to feel sweet.
Yeah, Spencer, I completely agree. I mean,
Talk about hammer, meet, nail.
That is how you close out a game right there. And for James Madison, of course, they had the empty net because they're trying to leave it all out there to, do everything you can to score. Vistier comes out to claim the goal kick. Another late foul by Leland. And the players are feeling it now.
I mean, the sore loser. I mean, it's just very funny.
Hey, we'll talk about this Duke squad in our post-game show right after this game ends. Vistier's telling everybody to get down there. He's going to waste as much time as he can before he kicks it away. And you got to, how good does it feel? I mean, Atienza's up in arms on the bench. He's fired up because,
Where is
he
that
was
one?
attacked. P2, I mean, what an embarrassing display of everything. James Madison will kick it out of bounds. They'll say it's a James Madison throw-in, but it doesn't matter.
Oh!
And there's some shoving on the bench. And again,
God, my mic just exploded.
and it's James Madison over in the South Carolina bench. Lolas this time.
He's
everybody
mad. He's so mad.
count down the time. South Carolina wins it at Stone Stadium. It's 3-1 as the Gamecocks pick up a huge Sun Belt win.
I mean, P2 is looking to see if anyone has any unguarded skulls he can attempt to crack.
I tell you what, the Gamecocks will be well in their rights to send a flying boot right at that stupid little headband.
Hey, tune up the band, baby.
And you know what? Atienza is going to go try and shake hands with him. We'll give you play-by-play if another brawl breaks out at the midline. But again, what a win for South Carolina. And JP, let's talk about the soccer first. How I think the Gamecocks, this has been their best showing without a doubt for me. What would you say?
It was very impressive. I mean, the defense was on point. I mean, James Madison's one goal came off of one of those. You just can't clear it, and it keeps on miraculously finding its way back to a James Madison player. Other than that, they were smothering. They didn't allow really any kind of chances outside of the corner kicks. The corner kicks were a problem again, but they were able to survive them. Offensively, I mean, I thought they were pretty phenomenal. They generated some really nice chances, and they got their own chances off of corner kicks and throw-ins from the far touchline. And so, for South Carolina, I really do think it was one of their best performances. And now, what a win over a team that's number 36 in RPI. We'll kind of take a look here at the rest of the Sun Belt. Marshall, number 7, West Virginia, number 11, JMU, the third highest team in the Sun Belt in RPI, Central Florida there at 53rd, South Carolina at 55th, Kentucky at 62nd, and Georgia Southern, Coastal Carolina, Old Dominion, Georgia State, far away from tournament contention. But for South Carolina, this is a season-defining win over a team that was so high in RPI, and the Gamecocks now move to 500 in conference play.
And their next game is next Tuesday as they host Georgia Southern, and they've got a game against them and Old Dominion. So you've got 2 games left that are very winnable. And for South Carolina, you gotta win those. But again, JP, this is their most promising showing of the season. I would say at least at home that we've gotten to lay our own eyes on. So the Gamecocks get it done 3-1, and everybody in attendance raise their glass as we hear the alma mater here. But again, for just a moment, let's touch on what we saw. Again, I think, a really sorry performance from James Madison in the sportsmanship department.
Oh, they get a doom there.
They do. I mean, pushing, shoving, an attack. I don't know how P2 was
Late
allowed to.
hits.
Actually, I don't know how P2 was able to stay in the game. I don't know how you review that and are like, oh, no, it was fine. But you know what? It didn't matter. And this one has got to be the sweetest victory of the year for South Carolina.
After all that, to come away.
After all that, the
empty net
nagging,
goal.
the tallying, the antagonizing of the crowd. When you saw Begard dash out in front of that open net, I mean,
I think
ever so
the
sweet.
way Begard scored there, where he was holding it until the very last moment and just tapped it in, that was a special. And look, P2 halving his stretching afterwards.
Well, he should definitely be chastised by his own coach. I mean, if you endorse that kind of play, I mean, I think that tells you all you need to know.
Low character.
Yeah,
That's what we've seen today.
You know what? That's all we'll say on that. You can watch that team if you want the rest of the way. But again, Atienza as fired up as you could ever see him. As again, you got to credit the South Carolina team for not retaliating.
Absolutely.
For everything,
taking the high road.
I'm sure that was hard, but they get the sweetest thing of them all. It's not a scrappy after the play hit. They get to leave with a victory, and that's everything you could have asked for. Again, I think that's going to do it for us. Gamecocks win 3-1. Thanks for tuning in with us. I've been Spencer Ball. He's been JP Barry. Again, we want to shout out our tech man, Doug Andreuzzi, for the night, and our shadow, Big Pflugi. So big shout out to everyone. Thanks for listening. And JP, we'll see him next time.
Good night, Carolina.